You must have a driver's license to drive a car. You must have a driver's license to drive a car. Can I just say you have to have a driver's license? Hello everyone, my name is Ehab and this is English with Ehab, where we talk about English, practice it, and hopefully by the end of the lesson we learn something about it. Today the topic is going to be modals, specifically must, have to, and don't have to. I'm making this video to continue with my modals series. For these particular modals, must, have to, and don't have to, these are modals of necessity. Necessity means something is necessary, something that you need to do in order to do something else. A lot of times we use this with rules, we use them with laws, requirements for certain things, requirements for travel, requirements like the teaser I put in the introduction there, getting a driver's license. All of those we use these particular modals. Now, is there a difference between must and have to? Not necessarily. The meanings are virtually the same. The difference is what instances you use have to and what instances you use must. So anyways, for today, that's what we are going to focus on. I'm going to try to show you some examples of where we probably are going to use the modal must, and then other instances where we are going to use have to or has to if the subject is singular. And then what instances do we use don't have to or doesn't have to. So anyways, let's go ahead and get to the board. Okay, on the board right behind me are some examples where we use the modals must, have to, or has to, don't have to, and doesn't have to. So let's go one by one. Okay, this is what I put in the introduction. You must have a driver's license to drive a car. Now, can you say you have to have a driver's license? Absolutely. And it depends on who you are talking to. Usually, have to or has to is just considered informal. That's all. Must is considered formal. So, what does that mean? It means when we are talking about laws, anything which is legal, any kind of application, it could be a government application, it could be an application for school, it could be an application for work, in any one of those instances you are going to see the modal must being used, not have to. Again, have to is more for spoken, not necessarily something which is going to be formal. Now, informal, among people you know, among friends of yours, that's when we use have to. I have to work tonight. That means it's necessary for me. I have no choice. I need to do this. John has to pay rent every month. Can I say must in those instances? Yeah, you can. All right. What I'm trying to show you is which ones are most common. All right. Now, if you have a choice, if you have an option, that's when we use don't have to or doesn't have to. For example, the students have to come to class on weekdays. Weekdays is Monday through Friday. So, instead of saying that's necessity, I can say the students don't have to come to school on the weekends. Because again, they have school Monday through Friday. They can go to school on the weekend, but it's probably going to be closed. So when we say don't have to, it means it's up to you. It is your option. Lisa doesn't have to take the subway because she drives. Again, it is up to her. If it says she drives, it probably means she has a car and she uses that car to get around, to get to work, to get to school, possibly. So it's up to her. If she wants to take the subway, she can, but she doesn't need to. Okay, So these are really the main ways that we use must, have to, and don't have to when we are talking about necessity. Necessity, again, that means something that is necessary, something that you need to do. You have no choice in the matter, except of course in these instances right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the conclusion. I'm going to put some sentences. We'll see if we understand what they mean and which modals we can use. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. Okay, on the board right behind me are 7 sentences. Each one has a verb in parentheses. What we need to do is we need to decide, am I going to use must? Am I going to use have to or has to, depending on the subject? Or are we going to use don't or doesn't have to? And again, depending on the subject and obviously the meaning of the sentence. In some instances, you can use more than one correct answer, but again, we're trying to go for the best answer. The one that uses the modal the most common times. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this one by one. And again, we're going to try to understand the meaning of the sentence, because that's going to help us identify which modal to use. Number 1, Sarah has plenty of money and is very wealthy. She blank anymore. She must, she has to, she doesn't have to. If you said doesn't have to, you are absolutely correct. Okay, she doesn't have to work anymore. It means that it is up to her. It is her choice. Again, if you look at the information I gave you, she has plenty of money. She's very wealthy. If you are that rich, then working is really optional. Maybe you work because you enjoy it, or maybe you have goals you want to reach. But again, it is up to you. If you have that much money, it is optional because again, it is not something which is necessary. Number 2, people blank a passport to travel internationally. People blank a passport to travel internationally. Now, when you think about traveling to a country outside of your own country, do you need a passport? Absolutely. So we're going to say people must get a passport to travel internationally. Now again, can I say have to get? Sure, you can. But passport, again, that's a requirement. That's a law. That's a rule. In those instances, we usually go with the modal must. I blank tonight for an exam. I blank tonight for an exam. In this case, I have to study tonight for an exam. If you are talking about something for yourself, usually we just say I have to. Now, can you say I must study? You can, but it sounds really, really strong. Usually, when people are speaking with one another, we simply just use have to. You blank in the building. And I give you the word not, and then I give you the verb smoke. So for this one sounds like a rule. It sounds like a law. So it should be you must not smoke in the building. Again, anytime we are talking about rules or laws, we are going to use must or must not. One of those two. Tom only works during the day. Tom only works during the day. He blank at night. He doesn't have to work. Why? Because it's optional. It's up to him. If it says he only works during the day, then that means if he wants to, he can work at night, but it's not necessary. I only teach classes Monday through Thursday. All right? I don't have to work on Friday, and I don't have to work on the weekend. Now, do I? Sometimes I do, but it's optional. It's optional. Just like here. Lisa graduated from college last year. Lisa graduated from college last year. She blank more classes. Again, same thing. She doesn't have to take more classes. It is up to her. She finished college. Now, do people continue their education? Sure, they do. But it's optional at that point. Once you have graduated, then it's really going to be up to you. Number 7, employees. Employees blank out the application for health insurance by Friday. Sometimes we receive some sort of note from our employers, the companies that we work for, because a lot of times we get our health insurance, our dental insurance from that employer, and usually they will send us a note and tell us that we need to fill out an application to let them know that we want to get health care. So remember, if it's something formal, if you see it on an application, a note from a government, from a company, from a state or from a city, we're going to use the more formal modal. Employees must fill out the application for health insurance by Friday. Hope this video helped out a little bit to try to show you the differences between these modals. I know they can be tricky sometimes. If you did enjoy the video, if you can please like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if there are videos that you would like to see, certain lessons that you want to know about or want to learn about, please leave a comment down below, and I promise to make that happen in the very near future. As always, keep on speaking English. Bye-bye for now.